Honestly, I had just got sick and tired of being illiterate. I was tired of being illiterate. I was tired of feeling dumb because I couldn't look and recognize, because I couldn't read. So I was like, it's time to do something. And it's like I couldn't go on. I couldn't get better if I didn't learn to read. So that's what got me here today.
Really, knowing how to read has nothing to do with your intelligence. Louis had lost his job, and in order to apply for other jobs, he had to know how to fill out an application. And something that Louis had hidden from most people all of his life was that he could not read.
I never let it stop me. I never do hang up on it. I just use common sense. And I could always just memorize what I wanted to, what I had to know on the reading and whatever, you know, and it was hard. It was hard. It was hard. When the sled started to, he floundered in the soft snow.
When Louis came, we started immediately into the phonics. Within a very short time, Louis was just so into learning to read that he was a joy to teach. He was like a sponge. He soaked it up.
At first I thought, well, you know, I never get this, you know, but after it started clicking and it started working, it's been wonderful. It has.
And the day that he came in and said that he could read the sign of the street he was riding down, he was just overjoyed. And he told me he had to sit on the side of the road and he was overcome with joy. And I just loved every minute helping Louis.
Well, Margie's great, and you know, she's my hero. I mean, you know, she, I don't know, she made something click, and it just, you know, it just worked.
I've been tutoring for about 5 years now. I wasn't sure when I got into it exactly what it was all about. I knew I wanted to do something to give back to the community. I've had several students over the 5 years since I've been tutoring, some for shorter periods of time. The two that I have now I've worked with for several years. The time that you spend together, you develop a relationship with these people. And you get to understand and you live, in some cases, their lives along with yours. One in particular, his name is James, that I've worked with now for almost 2 years. The intent was for him to raise his level of reading so he could be promoted in the job he was in. Once we started, and after about 6 months, they were able to do that. He increased his self-esteem, how he felt about himself, how he handled himself with people. And they could see that, his management, and they moved him right up. So he now supervises several people. But the unintended benefit of this was he was able to start emailing his son, who was stationed in Iraq. And James was able to communicate with him on a regular basis, which he hadn't been able to do earlier. What a neat thing to have that part of the world open up to you, and you'd be able to, we take emails for granted, and yet it was something that he was held out of because of his inability to read.
I am so privileged to work with the tutors that I have. They're volunteers that come to us just because they can read and they can't imagine what it would be like to not be able to read.
Does a dinosaur stomp his feet on the floor?
And shout.
And shout, I want to hear one book more.
And I've had one volunteer tell me it is the most meaningful thing they have ever done. Because the more you invest, usually the more the return will be. And so the students and the tutors mutually respect one another, and there is life change that happens. And these people that do this, these volunteers, are world changers. One person at a time, one at a time.
Well, I've been policing now for over 22 years, actually all of my adult life, and I've seen the effects of illiteracy throughout every assignment. Whether it's as a traffic officer, where you're stopping someone for violating a traffic law and they can't read the ticket that you're trying to give them, or you're responding to a scene of a burglary and you're writing a burglary report and the victim can't read the report before they sign their name, or if you're touring the jail, when I was the commander over our jail, and you see the inmates and the strong effects that their inability to read has had on their entire lives. Because most people who get sentenced to prison, it didn't start there, it started somewhere years before, and it's really like a disease that has affected every aspect of their life.
Serving on the board, I've had the opportunity to see a lot of learners who give these just beautiful testimonies about how it's changed their life. And those are very emotional, and they tug at my heartstrings, because I can't imagine my life if I couldn't read. It'd be worse than not being able to see. But there's so many good causes. There are hundreds of good causes and organizations, but this particular one seems to have a strong impact and relevance on the success of all the other organizations, because every client, every program, these people have to be able to read in their lives to be successful.
In order for Alabama and its citizens to compete in the global marketplace, it's essential that we have a literate and educated workforce. Today's qualified worker needs not only basic reading and writing skills, but they need computer and financial skills as well. We need your help, whether it be reading to a child, volunteering your time, or donating your money. We owe it to ourselves and to the future generations of Alabama to have a literate and educated workforce. Thank you.
The Literacy Council has meant the world to me. It's changed the world.